I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, but it's made a huge difference as far as my overall look goes. I'm looking leaner. I don't have a bloated look. I don't feel that heavy guttural feeling, like I have a full stomach all the time, that kind of thing, right? So I feel like overall my calories are about the same, maybe a little bit less, which would explain the cutting, right? But I feel like my body is eating and digesting that food way more efficiently. It's really something I think everybody should try at some point. Do it for a couple of weeks where you're only eating during a maybe a 7 hour window per day, and you don't consume any calories outside of that. And it really allows your body to start cleaning out. And if you go for a longer term, like a 72-hour fast at some point, that's really good. There's a what's his name doctor on YouTube that talks about it a lot, and he explains how your body goes through these different phases over the first 4 days of fasting. And by the fourth day of fasting, obviously your body's going to be in ketosis, but your body is actually able to start healing a lot of your guttural lining and your intestinal lining that it can't heal if you have food in your intestines or in your stomach, right? So there's a lot of health benefits to intermittent fasting, and it's not necessarily right for everybody. But I would highly encourage everybody to try doing it for a period of time because I think the vast majority of people would benefit from it. Overall, your body's going to be more efficient at digesting when you do eat food, which means that your body's going to be doing better with taking those calories and putting them into muscle, right? It's also allowing the rest of your body to heal itself in other ways that you don't see or think about on a regular basis and maintain a better quality of health long term.
Yeah, a good way to look at fasting is that you're giving your body the opportunity to clear out what's already there.
Yeah.
But you're also teaching your body to really use its digestion and really be able to intake all the things that you're eating at that time because you're literally training your stomach to say, okay, this is when I get food today. I know at a certain time frame, as of today, I will not have any more. So it's teaching your body not only to long haul those nutrients, but to use them more efficiently
Yeah.
in a much better way.
And it's amazing if you start digging into the fasting, and I'm talking long term fasting here where you're going for like 5+ days in a fasting state. There's some amazing research to verify how powerful it is for healing stuff. I mean, I'm talking literally any disease has almost 100% of diseases have been proven to be curable simply by fasting. And I mean, you look at a sick wild animal, the first thing it does is it goes and hides in a hole somewhere and it doesn't eat, right? It'll drink some water and it doesn't eat because it's letting its body heal itself. And the same thing is true for a human body. And like I said, there's plenty of people and plenty of research that can verify that they've cured everything from cancer to guttural issues to all kinds of health issues simply by fasting and allowing their body to purge itself. And when you're in that fasted state for long enough, your body actually starts to consume the damaged DNA, the damaged mitochondria, blood cells, all that kind of stuff. Your body will actually eat its own cancer.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing what your body can do for itself.
And the backside of fasting too is that it's a natural detox. You're detoxifying a lot of the parts of your body that haven't had a chance to have a break.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things when it comes to that too. Like, for a long time, I actually recently, one of the guys at the gym we know, local sheriff, he had severe gut issues. They could not figure out what was going on with this guy. He went to 3 different college campuses. It was basically an experiment. They did an exploratory surgery, couldn't figure it out, right? Well, what he ended up doing was a parasite cleanse. And it literally, I think, I'm not sure what it was, but he got it from going up to Washington, eating really bad fish, and then, he got a parasite. And one of the things that he had to do is he fasted, and this allowed his body to kick back up, figure out what's going on, on top of the cleanse, on top of the binder, and really push all of that out. I'll save you the gruesome part of what happens when you do that, but well, it's pretty disgusting. But from his own words, and he's a big guy, he's a big buff guy, and even though he's a short, stacked out guy, but he's big, for his size. And I had to ask him. I was like, "You're looking good, man." Like really, what it was. And when he opened up to me about it, I was in shock. Like food and how we intake it, and what we're doing in a daily routine is so important. It is
Yeah.
so important. Like, of course, there is no such thing as being too healthy. There is such a thing as overdoing it.
Right.
But when it comes to the reality, of how you're going to treat your gut and how it's going to intake nutrient and where it's going to store those things, You got to be smart. You got to think about it in a way like, okay, like I need to really, really pay attention to what's going on here and why this is happening, right?
Hmm.
With me, I was just trying to be proactive, trying to stay on top of my gut health. I know I don't have the best stomach in the world. So, but I was being so proactive, I was missing key signs. And the other thing was is that when you don't think you have a problem, you're not going to really notice the other ones that are coming from it. One of which was like, I was pale. I didn't even know
Yeah,
how pale I was looking. And,
yeah,
I look back at some of our videos now and I go, wow, man, like what a sign that I just didn't even know. But the other part was there was no pain. I wasn't having bad bowel movement. I wasn't having any sort of issues that were coming up saying like, hey, you got a big gut problem because I have had diverticulitis flare up. I have had IBS flare up. And, the biggest thing that was blowing my mind about it was like, whoa, when this kicked on, I mean, it was overnight. It was not, hey, like we're gonna wait, you have an infection and you slowly get sick. It was like the moment the infection got to its peak where it was like, you need help now. It was instantaneous. I knew what was going on. I knew to call my wife and be like, take me to the hospital. And yes, I was a big baby the whole way.
yeah.
But in reality, I was also told in that ER that like, thank God you are a person that you are because for one, they get in people who treat themselves terribly. They don't
Hmm.
take care of themselves. They don't do the right thing daily on their routines and or how they eat. So for them, it was kind of shocking to see someone of my build and stature in the ER with so much pain. But I was told right away, you were so lucky and you're so smart because of the fact that you were able to catch this right when it got to the implemental moment of like, hey, this is going the wrong way,
Right.
is right when I caught it. If I would have waited, and just ignored it, or had I not been doing the right thing with dieting, because, I do a lot of work when it comes to, okay, what am I putting in my body? How am I putting it in? What time of day? How many times a day? If I wasn't on top of those things, I never would have known. They said there's a lot of times if it bursts the other way, because it is an abscess, it's a pus-filled fat, like little sac in your stomach. They said if I would have gone the other way and it would have closed off on the side of the like diverticula and then burst the opposite way because your body's going to choose one way or the other, that I would have gone septic. I could have died. I could have had a heart attack. Like those things are really, really scary.
Hmm.
So I'm thankful that I am a fitness guy and that I like to go and research these things down to the bone because for years I didn't have a flare up. For years I didn't have any issues because I am hyper strict on my diet. You don't see me in the drive through at McDonald's. You won't see me at Wendy's. You won't see me at Carl's Jr. Or for there are people out there on the East Coast, Hardee's. But, yes, do I have cheat meals? Yeah, I love pizza.
Yeah.
I love a burger here and there. But you see me going to Five Guys. You don't see me going to a place where they have frozen patties. The big thing is that no matter what you're going to be taking, no matter what you're running, make sure that you first of all, we stress this all the time, an overall health checkup. It's just so important. Go to your doctor, get your blood drawn, see what's going on inside of your body because blood tests are your overall guidance of what is happening. Like they're going to tell you, okay, you got an elevated white or you got an elevated red, or man, your insulin levels are high, or your sugar glucose levels are high. And those are all signs that something's wrong and that you're not doing something right.
Hmm.
The next steps after that is okay, what do I got to do? What do I need to change? Well, this is where dieting comes into play.
Hmm.
This is where all those things that you're taking really need to be honed in on because, like, there are certain things I don't touch them in the world of anabolics, and I won't touch those things down the road because they do too much. Like we've had the discussion like when it comes to Winstrol, Anavar, those things. I can take Anavar, but Winstrol, I get drier than hell. I get so cut, it hurts. It's not worth it. I end up having more of a negative side effect than I would a positive
Right.
one. And that's the other thing is that you have to determine these things prior to ever taking them. Know your body, know your body type, know what your body does, know what your diet does for you.
So you guys really need to be careful when you're living your life, especially if you're in the fitness context of things. Like you said, it's your body will mask things that people figure. Like somebody will feel off a little bit a lot sooner if they're not super super fit. Somebody who's super fit might feel off faster in another aspect, like, oh, I got a muscle I'm about to pull, I need to slow down. But you need to monitor your entire body's health. And pay attention to those little signs. Like if you suddenly have to start eating a whole ton of stuff, maybe you got something like that going on. Maybe you have a parasitic infection. Things like that are almost never checked out or diagnosed in the United States. And so
Oh
it's very
yeah.
important to be cognizant of little things that seem irrelevant in your daily health.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too, because like the coloration in my face and like how my skin was acting was a sign that I had, not just a buildup of bile and what they call sloughing in the lower colon, but that there is an infection in the body. Like, so I was having, like I'm not that old of a guy. I'm 35 years old, but my eyelids underneath, like I couldn't get them to stop sinking in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was I just thought, hey, I'm getting older, time's going on, age is getting up there. But what's funny is that within a 14-day period of me recovering from this, I had my skin clearing up. I wasn't having as many issues with like, how my weight was fluctuating. But the lucky part about it is that because of my lifestyle and the way that I live, the choice of food I decide to intake, I avoided a lot of serious complications. I'm very thankful for fitness and for supplementation and things that I do take just because of that one manner.
Mm-hmm.